com. We have a tremendous guest joining us today here on the old Skype, the old Skype-a-rooney. And go ahead and give us a brief introduction on yourself, my friend. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Sure. I'm Dr. Carol Solloway, and I'm a practicing chiropractor, qualified medical examiner, but my passion is writing. And I've written two books, which were two novels, which were Amazon bestsellers. And one is actually being presented to Hallmark. But my real passion is children's books. And I've written The Surprise Circus, which takes Les Brown, he wrote the foreword, principles to children to make them believe in their greatness. And then they can do anything, even a surprise circus.
That's awesome. That is fantastic. So tell us a little bit about the writing process for this book.
Well, I had a writing partner, my then 5-year-old granddaughter, and together we sat in the backyard and started talking about what would happen if a circus didn't come to town. What would you do? And we started talking, and suddenly the book came alive. It was my idea, but her imagination. So I wrote it with my 6-year-old, and she is now an international best-selling author.
Wow, that is pretty damn amazing. So
Yeah.
So this is a really cool process. So you guys put this together. What was the production process from the writing to getting it out there to doing everything?
We sat in my backyard and kind of talked about, oh my goodness, a juggler would come to the house, and what if he started juggling everything and even threw the baby sister in the air and made her and then the magician made her baby sister disappear. And we started talking about all of the circus characters. And then one day I was at a seminar, and Les Brown and I, who do happen to know each other on a personal level, we're talking about our children. And we started talking about getting his message to children. And then I went back to the book, and actually I brought in his grandson, who I do know too. So it, by the way, is a story which is so important for today, because there's my granddaughter, who is white, and Les's grandson, who is black, and together they work to make this circus the greatest circus in the world, a world where children are colorblind, because children don't see it. They don't see the difference. So we wrote it right before the pandemic. And as a matter of fact, Les's words, children have to be taught what they can do, not what they can't do. That's one of his asides in the foreword. And then we wrote it before all these racial tensions, and it is so now. And children need to see this right now, I believe. So to get back to the writing process, we wrote it. My granddaughter and I talked about the characters, and then when Les and I talked about taking his message to children, we went back and kind of showed how his grandson could say to her, like, because she's afraid to talk in front of people, and he could say to her, you've got to be hungry, which I can't say as wonderfully as Les does, and she said, we can serve popcorn. And he explained what hungry means. So we're getting messages out to children, which they so desperately need.
So this book, what do you want readers to take away from your writing of this book?
I want children to take away the idea that they have to find what they're good at, what they're great at. And then once they do, they have to be really hungry to succeed. And if they do that, they can do anything. And I also want them to giggle, because a lot of the scenes are funny, and that's what children need right now, an escape, a giggle.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. You are completely correct, my friend. We have got a great guest with us today. Carol Solloway joins us here on our big program. You can find us on iHeartRadio and also AMFM247.com. So this book, you've gotten a lot of great feedback. Tell us about some of the different feedback and reviews, criticism that you've gotten on the book so far.
I've gotten really great reviews by 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds. That's the most important. Yes, a lot of parents and grandparents have been saying how important the book is for children to see, that these two children don't even see color, but yet they're going to work together. And also, at night, now with COVID, children are having more nightmares. And I have been told how the children are so happy when they're read this book, because they giggle, they go to sleep without thinking about, why is it everybody's wearing a mask? Why is it I can't go out and play with my friends? So what I want people to take away is that if you read to your child at least 3 nights a week, they're 25% smarter in school. So I want parents to get in the habit of reading to their children, and to read something that's giggly, that's imaginative, but that has a moral. Because that is so absent in so many, I'm not going to say so many other children's books, but in our world.
That's fantastic. It is a great guest with us today. Carol Solloway joins us here on a broadcast. She's got a tremendous new book out there. So, social media, websites, buying the book, how do we do all this, my friend?
Oh, you've got to do it now, because your children are hungry for it. It's on Amazon, Barnes & Noble's, Books A Million, and it is called The Surprise Circus. And what child doesn't want to go to the circus? The Surprise Circus by Dr. Carol and Aria Solloway. And my website is, of course, www.thesurprisecircus.com.
We have got a great guest with us today. Dr. Carol Solloway joins us here on a broadcast. So, you've got this book. You've put a lot of time and effort into the book. What are some of the goals for the book? What are you hoping that this book accomplishes?
Well, I'm Dr. Carol, the new Dr. Seuss. And Les Brown and I actually have spoken. And what we do want to do is write more children's books with more morals, more of his teachings, rather, getting them to children, because that's how we're going to affect change in the world, by starting with our children. So what I hope with this book, I hope to be able to get it into schools, libraries, etc., because it has to reach more children. The Surprise Circus is a book that they're going to hopefully remember and then read to their children.
Fantastic. Dr. Carol Solloway with us today. She joins us live here on our big broadcast. The Surprise Circus is the latest from her. You can get more information online. And so Doctor, you've gotten a lot of great feedback. You've put a lot of time and effort into the book. What is next for you as an author?
I am going to write more children's books. I don't know about not going back to novels, because even though my two novels did beautifully, they were bestsellers. The one is called Sex Happens, and the other one is called Gracie's Gone. But I really have found my passion. As a matter of fact, I found a children's book that I had written over 40 years ago. So I guess this is my real calling, and everyone needs to find his real calling.
Fantastic. It is Dr. Carol Solloway. She joins us today here in our broadcast. And Doctor, this book, like I mentioned, just incredible. You've put a lot of time and effort into the book. You've got a lot of things going on out there with the book. Why is this book so special to you?
So special because I wrote it with my granddaughter, first of all, Aria Solloway. But really, it's so special because parents have been calling me. I got partnered with Girls Inc. and they had me read it to the girls, and they're sending it out. And and by the way, if anyone wants a PDF, I'll send it to them so they can see it if we can do that. And it's really special because of the fact that it's what children need right now. And that's why I guess special and timely. When the two are married, it's really it's way more important, way more exciting. And right now, the children certainly can't even go out to see their friends, whereas this brings something as magical, imaginative as a circus to them. And it's also just needed at this time.
It is a tremendous book. We have got a great guest with us today. Dr. Carol Solloway joins us here in our broadcast. You can get more information online. And so give us the profile of the typical reader who's going to love your book, Doctor.
A 3 to 8-year-old, which is really different from my novels, which were mostly for women and ages, 20 to 70 or older. And now I'm going to, I was a teacher before, and this is tapping into everything I love. And a typical age, a good age range would be 3 to 8, because that's the time when they're open to the magic in the world, and they're just really like sponges, which is also why the surprise circus is fun for them, because they're sponges about what's going on in the world too.
It's fantastic.
And if this can kind of mitigate that, or for a little while, I've done my job.
That's fantastic. So let's talk about some of your other books. How do you compare your other books to this book, as far as the writing process, getting everything put together, all that?
Well, I wouldn't compare The Surprise Circus to Sex Happens.
Yes, obviously.
Different audience. My adult books, my first book I wrote, and after I wrote it, this is really kind of creepy, I met somebody who had the same name, so I changed the name, as my main character. He did exactly what my main character did, even trying to hire a hit person for me, if you absorb that. In other words, I wrote it, and then everything came to fruition. Now, the last part in the book was that he was, he was sentenced for insurance fraud. That happened 2 weeks ago, and this book has been out for 6 years. he was just a big sentencing in jail, etc. So that's what happened to in Sex Happened. The reason I'm bringing that up is because when we hear stories, when we live stories, it is so amazing how we can almost see the future. Or when it's in us, it comes true. And taking that, if children see that what they can do, what someone else can do, they will go on to do great things. So I
Awesome.
don't know if I answered the question. It's kind of left
Awesome.
and right. And,
No. You're good. You're good, my friend. We have got a great guest with us today, Dr. Carol Solloway, with us here on our program. She joins us live here on Skype, and so your other book, Sex Happens. Let's talk a little bit about this. Tell me about the writing process, the research process to putting this book together.
Yeah, oh, okay. The writing process, now I have a full-time job.
Yes.
So the writing process was 11 o'clock to 1 in the morning.
Wow.
And yeah, I know. And I took a lot of writing classes. Even though I had been an English teacher, I decided to go back, and I was accepted to Squaw Valley, which writers program, which was a week-long program. It was amazing. Amy Tan, Mark Childress, all these famous authors were there teaching us. And I took a lot of classes and learned how to write novels. It was like going back to school. And then I started writing, joined a writers group, and one week I was on top of the world, the other week I went to put my head in the toilet or something. And the book came to be. It was, it was just almost organic. The characters were talking to me. They were in the shower, in the car, and it just took flight. And I wrote it, and then decided, you know what? The world needs this, because it's a woman who loses custody of her children. And I went and sat and watched one court case after another for research, spoke to attorneys, spoke to judges to get everything correct. And there's also a book club in it, but I wanted the woman to, and by the way, it's not autobiographical because the sex scenes are really great. And it became a bestseller, and so many women were telling me, this is amazing. If she could do it, I could do it. And then I started speaking across the country, and I keynoted One Key to Victory at numerous charitable it was amazing what came of that book.
Awesome. Now, I guess before we let you go, how do people buy your books and get involved with what you're doing, my friend?
Sure. They can contact me at Dr. Carol, Carol, Solloway, Soloway, at gmail.com. If they want, I'm speaking all over, especially parents groups, etc. And matter of fact, this week I was in Phoenix and LA without leaving this chair. And the books are available on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, and they're going well. All of them.
Fantastic. Well, you have yourself a wonderful day, Doctor. This has definitely been a fun interview. I'm glad we got a chance to chat, and I will talk to you soon. Have yourself a wonderful day, Doctor.
You too. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, my friend. There she goes, Dr. Carol Solloway. And we are going to take a time out. And when we come back, we are going to keep it going. I don't know. It is it is a hell of a deal. It's a hell of a day. And it is the world famous Jiggy Jaguar radio broadcast back here in a few moments.